first day of practice?
So a little bit about my summer, sir. I stat PL 300 with this ChatGPT robot brain here, and had fun there. Jumped into law, and then just finished that on yesterday. And just we were working in the weight room every day and on the field, obviously. And then first day of practice today was, in my opinion, not bad given the weather, but it's hot, but we got to get over that. It's hot at FAU, which is what I was preaching to the guys after practice. And, we got to be mentally strong in that way. And overall, there's just a lot of room to improve, like Coach Woody said at the end of practice. So I'm encouraged by what I saw today.
And how is it for you, as a leader on the team now, approaching, the first day and helping people get used to what they have to do, the procedures, and how to practice?
Yeah, sir. We're very disciplined. We're the most disciplined team in the country. So just, every detail is not too big or too small because, those little details add up. And, we just got to hold each other accountable, especially those veterans in each room. And then, just practice what we did last year and the year before, and practice with intent, discipline, effort, and we'll be just fine.
They did the same thing to self-pay your summer?
Yes, sir. So I took PL 300, which is a psychology/leadership class with this guy right here. It was a good time. Then I took a systems engineering intro course. Wasn't too bad. It was all for both players in there, so it was a good time. Summer workouts went really well. The guys really bonded together. We all hung out outside of workouts and runs. So we all had a great summer. First day of camp, it was all right. Definitely room for improvement, but good thing is we're not playing tomorrow. So, it was hot, but every other team is practicing in the heat as well, so we can't let that be a factor. But I was really encouraged by what we saw today, and there's only room for improvement.
How is it for you to be a senior leader now on the team?
It's a blessing. I thank God every day that He put me in this position. I'm really grateful to have been elected captain. That's my highest achievement in life is having my teammates select me as the football captain of this team, right? So it's not something I take lightly. Me and Kalib, I feel like we've been doing really well. We complement each other really well. It's just been us two. We're the only two linebackers that came in. So, I'm really encouraged. We also have a lot of leaders on our team that are younger guys. So we lean on them a lot with their classes. But, yeah, it's been good.
Yeah, look forward to a great season.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Guys, last year you had 2 seasons, a pretty good season. I know, of course, you had the Navy loss. Is there any pressure on the team going into practice this year based on the fact that you did so well last year?
Honestly, sir, not really. Obviously, last year was a blessing going 12-2, but that's in the past. And I think one thing we did really well last year was taking one game at a time, and we've kind of bought into that mindset as we've gone into this season. So last season was last season, and we're going to leave it in the past. And we have a new team, a new mission, and we're going to try to top it this year.
That was my next question is, what do you do with the team now going forward to emphasize that it is one game at a time, and obviously you've got a season that starts in 30 days. What message are you sending to, especially the younger players on the team?
That's a good question. Just like I said, taking it one game at a time. So we have Kansas State this year. We obviously got CIC, Navy, Air Force. But we should be focused on Tarleton State one game at a time. They got a good team, really talented guys, really good coaches. So they're going to give us a run for our money. So we just got to focus on them, focus on the fundamentals, and it'll all take care of itself.
You guys have you're both linebackers. You have, I think, a great relationship with each other. Talk about that. How does that benefit you, and how does it benefit? Do you think it benefits the team?
It's unbelievable, sir. To be captains together, but then also play the same position together. And like Andon mentioned previously, we're the only 2 inside backers that come in for the class of 26. Mm-hmm. And so just right away, we could see how special we're going to be and see how tight we're going to be, and then playing together last year. It was really special. He tells me things that, I don't see pre-snap, and then, he's just a hard-working player. You'll never find him not at the football. And you saw that with the amount of tackles he had last year, and then just his playmaking ability with the 2 picks. It's just really special to play beside him, and you're going to see that again this year, and I'm really excited to do it one more time.
Final question, do you think your personalities complement each other? Or are you similar on and off the field, or are you different?
Yeah, no, we're very different, but like Andon said already, we complement each other so good, and what I mean by that is, I feel like I can command the team when it needs to be commanded, and Andon can command the team too. But this guy, he's going to lead Special Forces one day. Like, there's no doubt about it. So he's a hardworking guy. Like, I've truly never met anybody that is so competent at literally everything. Like last week, we were playing baseball, and my guy hit 2 out of the park. I mean, he's just a very high-speed, confident individual, and we just complement each other really well in that aspect.
Thank you.
We'll go to Joe Iacono, Go Black Knights. Joe, go ahead.
Hey guys, welcome back to camp. As I said, Joe Iacono with GoBlackKnights.com. First question for Kalib. Kalib, I know the Army football culture is the Army football culture. It's been very well established since Coach Monken's been here. But each team kind of has their own little spin or tweak on that culture. What do you and Andon want the 2025 culture to look like? Is there any specific flavor you guys are trying to give to this team?
That's a great question. I don't think we're trying to put any spin or flavor on it. So honestly, what worked last year is what worked, and ultimately it comes down to what's in that black flag and what that means to us. And do you trust me? Do you care about me? And are you committed to excellence? And basically just picking up where we left off last year, and hopes to win that game in December.
Good stuff. And Andon, for you, since you and Kalib are both linebackers, both on the defensive side of the ball, there's no official captains on the offensive side of the ball. Although I know it's West Point, there's leaders all over the offense and all over the team. Understand that. But how are you two, as the official team captains, kind of taking, I guess, informal leadership of the offense or working with the leaders on the offense to be a cohesive unit as a team?
Right, so I think there's a lot of, while they might not be captains, there's a lot of leaders on offense. We got his brother Liam Fortner, we got Dwayne, we got Brady Small, we got Paulo Generelli. So really, the best thing we can do is just lean on those guys, because we're obviously split at practice. We're focused on defense. We can't go over there and help them out. So we're going to let those guys lead how they want to lead, and we trust them. We're giving them autonomy, obviously, over what they want to do. But yeah, it really just comes down to trust. We trust them a lot, and they've been leaders for 3-4 years here, so they're going to continue to be leaders.
We're going to go to Lynn.
Guys.
We're going to go to Lynn Fern here in person.
Hi guys, this is actually probably a question for both of you, kind of taking this last year, the senior class that graduated, they were in a very close-knit group. They were very much bonded. And I know many of you guys that are coming in that are now seniors, you've had a very close relationship with them as well. You could feel that bond on the sidelines and really pump each other up quite a bit. Talk about how you guys are going to carry that. I feel like that legacy that they look behind, how you going to carry that forward in your leadership roles.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. You're absolutely right. Last year's team was very close-knit, no egos. Everybody loved each other, and you saw that in the result of that last year. But this year, we have the same thing here. Our seniors are very close. The entire team is very close. Everybody in their classes love each other, look out for each other, and you're going to see that same thing from this team, this 2025 team. And so, I'm not worried about the relationships. We all care for each other, and you're going to see that same exact thing.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that's really what made last year special, the senior class. They were so close, and I think we've all hung out outside of here throughout the summer, and that's brought us really close, right? And I think through our summer trainings, through all the rigors of academics and West Point, that's really brought us together, right? Bonding through suffering. So I think we've done that really well, and I'm looking forward to this year.
Last question. You're literally 1 month out from the first game. What game are you looking forward to most this season, besides the RDA game? What game regular season?
Honestly, like the cliche answer is Tarleton State. Right? I mean, one game at a time. That's the first one that comes. We got Friday night at home. Last year was awesome against Lehigh. They were a good team as well. But just being out first game, Friday Night Lights. I'm excited for that one.
Yeah, for me, honestly, same answer, but to give you something different, I think I'm really excited for Kansas State. Big military area there, and hopefully we have a good showing. And then, every week from there on, it's going to be a great game, and another opportunity for us to get better.
Thank you.
We'll go to Tom Shanahan.
Hey guys, this question is primarily for Coach Monken, but I'll run it by you guys too. 30 years ago, John Feinstein came out with the great book about the Army-Navy rivalry, the Civil War, and that's before you guys were even born. But he deserves a lot of credit for reviving interest nationally in the rivalry. And John died in March. So this will be the first football season, first Army-Navy game he'll miss. Just wondering if you guys had any thoughts. I don't know if you're aware of it that much. But as team captains, he no doubt would have interviewed you sometime during the season.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't really aware of the book. I mean, I'm super sad of his loss, or of his passing, of course. I mean, it seemed like he was really respected and just a genuine guy, and, I would have loved to have sat down with him and talked to him. But, I mean, the Army-Navy game, it's obviously special, and we're looking forward to it December 13th.
We're going to beat Navy in spite of, I'm very sad that he can't be here to see us whoop their butt this year, but, it's very unfortunate.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, we'll bring in Noah Short and Brady Small in a few minutes. Thank you, guys.
Thank you all. Appreciate it.
Good luck.
Stuck to the seat here. Hey, you better get Coach Monken a different chair.
Yeah, we have another chair.
Okay. A little wet. Thank you, guys. Good to see you.
Thank you. I know John pretty well.
Really?
Yeah, he's a great guy. And he was around the program. He used to do commentary. He's
What's it called?
Civil War.
Civil War.
I'm reading it right now. I'm in the middle of it.
Yeah.
It's good. 95 season.
butt seats.
We'll start with Ken Kreitzer.
Ken Kreitzer, Cam Vets Media. Good to see you both. Great to start the new season. Bill, why don't you lead off for us? Just tell us about your summer and approaching the new football season.
My summer was great. I started off with some cadet training up at Buckner with a lot of the senior group, members of the football team, and then just got right into workouts, some summer courses, and just a lot of work with the quarterbacks and just different pieces of the offense, getting our timing down and preparing us for the moment we're in right now.
What are key elements of preparation for you?
I'd say the biggest thing that the slots were working on was just timing with the quarterbacks. All the quarterbacks were out there, Dwayne, Kel, Ethan. Just when we're coming out of our breaks, they're releasing the ball and just having that trust within each other that, even if we're not looking for the ball, they're gonna throw it early, and that just helps us against defenders and just our overall offense.
Thank you. Brady, good to see you. Tell us a little bit about your summer.
Yeah, so kind of a similar summer, right? So I was also taking stat classes or summer classes. Took 2 of them, and he had CLDT, so I had CTLT, which we were in Fort Drum, New York. We were there for roughly 2 weeks. It was a good time. Got to shadow lieutenants and get to learn more about the Army, and it was a really good experience. Yeah.
Just tell us a little bit about your preparation for the season. You had an outstanding season last year, the line of the year. What are some of the elements that you want to work on going into this season?
Yeah, definitely some big points of emphasis for us is obviously be lethal, be dominant as it always is. With Coach Vitti as your head guy in the offensive line room, he sets that from day one. And I feel like a good thing with the mob is like we're always bought in, and it's very easy to get people to buy in because of our culture. Not even in just the mob, but the whole team. Our culture is a big thing that we're working on this summer. We're trying to make sure that culture wins games, and we really do believe that. And with guys like Paolo Gennarelli and Will Jeffcoat, also in the offensive line room to help out. It's been a really good summer so far. Yeah.
Thank you. Seth Lewis and Black Knight Nation. Either one of you guys. The offense last year with Dale here. Obviously, he's gone. Let's talk about that. What do you expect? I mean, you're kind of starting new. I'm sure you have faith in your quarterbacks, but what's your expectations going into camp?
I'd say my expectations, for Dwayne and Kalen and Ethan are definitely high. It's been something we're preaching all off season is we have the capabilities to do what we did last year and do more. Obviously, it's tough. Bryson was a great leader and a great player for us, but I think it's just going to open up, more opportunities for guys to show off their skill sets, and I think that's something that Coach Worley is more than excited to do.
Yeah, kind of going off that, I'm excited. We have 3 really good quarterbacks right now competing for the starting job. They all have different things that they bring to the table, but all of them are capable of playing quarterback for this team. So, as the center, it's really great being able to work with all 3 of them, and, ultimately it's going to come down to Coach Worley's decision, and I'm just excited to see all 3 of these guys compete, and whoever gets the starting job, I know they're going to take control and lead us to winning some games this year.
But that's just offensive line was pretty damn good. You got 2 guys back, and you both, getting national recognition. Other guys have to step up. I know it's part of the Army motto. So you see guys stepping up. Do you expect them?
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously losing Lucas Scott, Bill Cassianis, Connor Finucane, that's 3 huge losses, right? But I mean, we have Will Jeffcoat stepping up at the left guard, who is a monster. He's played in a bunch of games. Talk about someone that is a model of consistency and is a great leader. It doesn't really lead by talking, leads by example, and sometimes that's even better than all the talking. And then for our tackle positions, we have Henry Appleton at the left tackle, who one of the strongest guys I know. He's doing a great job. Just seeing the growth that he's made from the spring to now, and how much time he's put in, watching film, getting the extra help. It's been really fun to watch. And then right tackle, right now we have Teddy Williams, who was a tight end for us. But, he got moved to offensive line, and he's doing a great job as well, right? He's in the film room every day. He's watching. He's learning. He's getting with Coach Vidi. He's getting with everybody. He's getting with us. And, I'm just excited to see these guys when we put pads on.
Okay, final question, Noah. I think we might see a more wide open offense this year with the quarterbacks and, good part of that. You're always on the outside, taking tackles out there.
Yeah.
What do you expect?
I think, Coach Worley, we've already thrown in some stuff just to get some more of our skill players the ball in different ways, just different motions and different route concepts. So I'm more than excited, and with guys like Toby Olawale and Liam Fortner, I think that the defense and their secondaries are going to have to respect, not just me, but a couple other guys, and that's just going to open it up even more. So I'm just super excited for what Coach Worley has dialed up for us.
Thank you, guys.
Yep, thank you.
We'll go next to Joe Iacono.
Hey guys, Joe Iacono with Go Black Knights. Brady, first question for you. Time flies, and 2 years ago, it just seems like yesterday when you were starting your first game as the plebe on the offensive line with all these veterans like Connor Finucane and guys who had been there for years, and now you're like the KG veteran of the offensive line. You definitely have the most starts, as the kind of senior returning starter as a Cal this year. How are you trying to lead the other guys and kind of bring along the new offensive line to kind of incorporate those guys into this year's version of the model?
Yeah, so I'm just trying to pass forward what was given to me when I was a plebe, like you said, right? Starting is not easy as a freshman, and that didn't. Someone went down, like Bill Cassianis got hurt a while ago during that camp, and I say this every interview that I get asked about this, but instead of talk about a guy who wants you to get better, right? Instead of him just kind of like pushing me off, like, oh, that's my spot, like when I get better, like I'm gonna come back. That man stayed after practice with me every day and helped me learn the offense. Coming out of Beast Barracks, helped me with my fundamentals, put in the extra work for me. And without that, I don't think I'd be up to where I am or playing as good as I did as a freshman, right? So that's a credit to him. And obviously the new freshmen just came in, right? So I like this new freshman class. They're eager to learn. They always are asking questions already. I was just in with Kieran Garris yesterday in the film room, just going over some plays. He's asking a bunch of questions, good questions. So I'm just excited to see when we put the pads on what these freshmen are capable of.
And that kind of leads right into my next question, actually. Last year, you guys were obviously, like Seth said, Joe Moore award-winning offensive line. Very blessed. I think all 5 of you started every game, if I'm not mistaken, but that's rare. So, hope you guys can have the same, fortune this year. But how does the too deep look of really having to develop, 10 offensive linemen that you guys can rotate around and play if injuries do come up?
Yeah, I would definitely say I would say we're pretty deep right now. I think there's a lot of guys that know what they're doing, that are in the 2 group and that are like waiting their turn patiently, right? I mean, obviously camp is fighting for jobs, but I know if someone goes down, God forbid, I have confidence in the 2s that they're going to get the job done, and that's good. I mean, that's very positive for this offensive line. Obviously, it's going to come with more development and growth, but being able to trust your 2s if someone goes down in a game scenario and not skip a beat is very important. I think we're getting to that point right now, so I'm very excited.
Thanks. And last question for Noah. Noah, Seth in on a little bit, but when I spoke with, I did a one-on-one interview with Coach Worley in the spring, and we talked about the changes to the offense this year with different quarterbacks, and they'll have a different look. Coach Monken even mentioned a little bit last week at American Conference Media Days, but specifically, Coach Worley said, we got to get the ball to Noah Short more. How does that make you feel? And, I know you're a team player. I know you'll do whatever they ask you to do, but how excited are you that your offensive coordinator specifically said he wants to get the ball in your hands more?
I'm more than excited. As a skilled player, you put in all the work in the off season to contribute and help your team win games. And so, going into my senior year, I feel like this is the the climax for all that I've worked for, and you know, I'm just more than excited to get going and kick it off here pretty soon.
Thanks, guys.
Yep, thank you.
We'll go to Tom Shanahan.
Hey guys, this question is more for Coach Monken than you guys, because it's about John Feinstein, a best-selling sports writer, wrote a book about the Army-Navy rivalry in 1995, so before you guys were even born. But he also covered the Army-Navy game extensively for the Washington Post, and he was been credited with reviving a lot of national interest in the game. He died in March, so this will be the first year he's not around. Army-Navy football and the Army-Navy game. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him, and like I said, the question is more for Coach Monken, but just checking to see if you had any thoughts about that.
I'm not too familiar on that subject, but you?
Me neither. I mean, you know, going into my senior year and the importance of the Army-Navy game, and my first 2 years winning it, you obviously recognize how important it is to all the service members and this organization. And I would say the pain of losing is worse than the joy of winning it. So, you know, it's important to the senior class to finish it the right way and change that outcome this year.
Absolutely.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Perfect. Head coach Jeff Monken will be next.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
And then you can move on that couch.
Good year.
Yeah, you're good.
Thanks, buddy. Yeah, definitely.
How are we starting this?
You want to just give a sentence open and then we'll get
All right.
done.
Nice to see you, everybody. Back on the practice field. It's great to be back out there. We're certainly excited about the season and just this time of year. I probably enjoy this time of the season as much as I do any. It's all football. There's no distractions. We've got our entire team here. We live in the building, eat in the building, meet in the building, everything. Lift, run, practice. It's just awesome to have our team here and to be able to build a camaraderie among the guys, and for the rookies to be here and be in this environment and learn from the older guys, and just the team building that happens. And really, I think what we find out over the next few weeks about our team, their personality, and just who we're going to be playing with. I think there's a lot of positions where there's some guys that are very well established and others where there's some good healthy competition going on. It's fun to see guys in both of those positions. So after day one, I can't tell you much. We're running around out there in shorts, trying not to make contact with anybody. Unfortunately, we inevitably run into each other, and hopefully we're going to stay healthy here before we start to get into shells and pads and really find out a little bit more about the speed of our guys and how fast they play and how physical they are. So I'm looking forward to the next week and a half, where we really start to get some pieces put in place.
Want to kick us off, Ken?
Sure. Ken Curtis or Cam Detsy, good to see you starting another season. Maybe, Coach, if you want to just outline a little bit about what your summer was, both getting some time away, but also what you focus on in preparing for the season.
So here, we've kind of got a summer that's set for these guys and a routine that we've gotten into over the last several years. They finished their final exams for the spring, or the T's as they call them here, the term end exams, and they either immediately or in the next few days go out and do summer military training. So our guys get a little bit of a few days off, maybe a long weekend. Sometimes they get a week or so of a little bit of a break, which is nice. And then they have their summer summer military training, and then following their summer military training, some come straight out of the field back to campus, and some have a couple of days after they finish their summer training before they report back to campus. But when we do in June, then we get into our summer football workouts, and so we started those in very early June. The first Monday in June, everybody reported back, and our players have been here pretty much the whole summer, with the exception of a little break around the 4th of July, which is right between the two summer school sessions that they take. But our team is here, everybody's here, and takes a summer school class in each of the sessions, works out all summer. Our coaches are here pretty solid throughout the summer, particularly in June when there's still a quiet period in recruiting, where we can get prospects to come visit us on campus. We had a lot of prospects come in the month of June. We had an official visit where we invited prospects and their families in June. And then in July, it becomes a dead period in recruiting. So that piece is, other than making contact through phone calls and text messages and direct messages and those kinds of things with prospects, we can't have any prospects on campus. So that slows down, but it ramps up a little bit in the month of July in terms of what we do with our players. The NCAA a few years ago allowed coaches to take part in film sessions, chalk talks with their players, and skill instruction, which is not practiced by any means, but teaching fundamentals and one-on-one work with our players, which we ramped that up a little bit in the month of July, preparing those guys for preseason camp. But we give our coaches a little time off so they can spend some time with their family or their families. I spent some time with mine getting away around the 4th of July. We didn't have any players on campus, so it was a window for us to get away, and that's nice for everybody to recharge their batteries. But certainly we were all very excited about getting back to campus and coming back to preseason camp. Yesterday, all the veterans reported, and the freshmen or the rookies, the plebes, had come out of cadet basic training on Sunday night. So we got our whole team here. It's just fun to be back.
Just kind of what you accomplished in spring practice this year, what can you take away and utilize as you start your fall camp? And what are some of the positions that you're focusing attention on?
So I think that spring ball is really a great opportunity for us to develop some guys that maybe haven't played a whole lot. They get far more repetitions playing their position in our defense or in our offensive schemes in the spring, and I think they really take some strides from perhaps maybe the freshmen or the rookies as much as anybody. They go through that first fall, and a lot of them are on the scout team, and they get some work in preseason camp, but after that they're running our opponent's offense or defense the rest of the season. And in the spring, they get to really just play within our scheme, which is great. And I think there's some big improvements that happen there for those young guys. And then over the course of the summer, the things that we can do with those guys in terms of skill instruction and just the teaching of our schemes. And there's some growth that happens there. But when they hit preseason camp like they do right now, coming out of their freshman year, or even coming out of their sophomore year, often we see some real improvement. And it's fun to see those guys who have grown, who have gained a lot of weight, gained a lot of strength, and they're different players now than they were even in the spring and certainly in the fall. So there's some competition at some key positions, and some of that competition are guys that are developing and have come up through the ranks, and now it's their opportunity to do it. Other guys are veteran guys that are been here and waited it out over guys that were established starters, and now they're in a position to try to earn a starting position themselves. So I don't know if there's any more key position on our team than quarterback. That's a huge part of every team and every program. It certainly is for us. So everybody's got a pretty watchful eye on that to see how that's going to play out. I think we've got a number of good players there that we feel very comfortable if any one of those guys was our starting quarterback. And I don't know who the starter will be in the opening game. And I'm not going to anoint anybody and name anybody a starter right now. That's for the competition to play out through the preseason camp. Certainly the most experienced guy is Dwayne Coleman, and if we had to play this afternoon, he'd be the starting quarterback. But we don't play for 5 weeks, so we're going to see how it plays out and watch Ethan and Cale and Dwayne and the rest of the guys that are there battle it out.
Thanks, Coach.
Coach, good to see you again.
Too, Seth.
Talk about the two captains you have. They're both in the inside linebackers and defensive guys. I'm sure you have a lot of faith in them, but tell me about why you picked these guys.
I didn't pick them. Their teammates picked them. And I think you'll find talking to those guys, they're very professional. They're really good leaders. They're good communicators. And they're both fiercely competitive. And so those are good guys to have out in front of the team. It was clear when our team voted that those were the two guys that they felt the strongest about. And it's not the first time that we've had all defensive captains. We had a year where we had 4 defensive captains, and I remember back in, I guess it was 2016, we had Jeremy Timpf and Andrew King, who were the 2 inside linebackers, and they were our 2 captains that year. So I think a lot of times those inside linebackers are natural leaders. They're a little bit like quarterbacks in that they have a lot of responsibility. And often when you look at high school teams, sometimes the best defensive player is the inside or middle linebacker for the team, and often they get thrust into a leadership position. So I think it's probably only natural that those guys feel comfortable in that role, and that our players kind of recognize those leadership qualities in them.
But playing off that, in the past you talked about how close your teams have been, especially last year, the players themselves. Do you feel that this year again? Do you think this is another team that's they're a close-knit group?
I do. I think that the experience here at West Point and the challenges that they go through here as cadets, that shared experience really creates a bond among our players that is unique, and it is truly a brotherhood. They lean on each other, rely on each other. They feel a great sense of loyalty and personal connection to each other. So I don't know that at this point last year I recognized just how close last year's team was or would be. I think that develops over time. It develops over the course of the season. And so I don't know that I can really truly gauge just where this group is in terms of their loyalty to each other and the relationships they have. But I think that'll reveal itself over the course of the preseason camp here and as we are in the early weeks of the season. And but I do see just the sense of brotherhood that we know is so important here in our program and I think in every program. But we do see that with our guys and the way they interact with each other.
Thank you, Coach.
Joe Iacano.
Hey, Coach Monken, welcome back to camp. First question is around the quarterback battle. As you mentioned, if you guys had to play tonight, it would be Dwayne Coleman, but you don't play for 5 weeks, so there's definitely 3 guys in the mix. What criteria are you and Coach Worley looking for one of the guys to potentially separate from the pack a little bit between now and opening night?
I think that's the guy that moves our team up and down the field and makes his teammates most productive. That to me is the most important piece for a quarterback. Certainly you want somebody that's talented and can run and throw and distribute the ball and do all those things, but they're just our guys that naturally do a good job of leading their unit and lead them up and down the field. And the guy that does that the best, he's the guy that needs to be our quarterback.
And follow-up and final question, two specialist positions that I kind of wanted to ask about going into camp, if you have any ideas around who potentially could be in the mix at the punter and place kicker positions. And I know the last couple of years you guys have used a different kickoff specialist versus a field goal kicker. So what do those positions look like going in?
At the top right now, and again, this will be evaluated as we go through camp. Dawson Jones is our place kicker, and James Wagenseller is our punter. And pardon me. James was the punter all last year, did a really good job, and so he's holding that position right now. I think he'll get some real competition from Cooper Allen, who was our punter 2 years ago, and then Anderson Britton is the guy out there that we're going to have to get some answers on. He in the Temple game tore his ACL on his kicking leg, which you imagine being a kicker, you tear the ACL on your kicking leg, that is certainly going to affect your ability to do your job. But he's recovered really well. He's been kicking field goals and PATs and doing a really good job. He was our kickoff specialist a year ago, and Granati was handling the PATs and field goals, and so perhaps Anderson can battle again to be the kickoff specialist, or maybe even be the place kicker, and Dawson or Wagenseller are the kickoff guys. So we'll just see how that goes and see how he recovers. But right now, those two guys I mentioned are at the top of the list.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks.
Ken McMillan. We'll go to Tom Shanahan.
Hey, Coach. Good to see you again.
You too, Tom.
Hey, I wanted to put together a story about John Feinstein. His book came out 30 years ago. This will be the first season he's not around for the Army-Navy, well, the whole season, as well as the Army-Navy game. And just want to get some thoughts from you on what you're going to miss about him and what he meant to reviving national interest in the rivalry, which I think he did.
What a super guy. I think everybody that read his stories and followed his career really appreciates how much he respected and loved the game of football. And he had a compelling way of writing the obvious and making it far more interesting. And we all were very appreciative of what he did to bring the attention to academy football. And I guess probably my first few years here, he would do a weekly write-up about the Army games, and if you just are a fan, it's just an enjoyable read. And I think he appreciated players, competitors, coaches, what went into it, and certainly his book about the Army-Navy rivalry back in the late 90s when he wrote that, the mid to late 90s. He was encamped with the two staffs pretty much throughout the season, and that investment, that dedication, that's uncommon. And so I think you are correct in that he did raise the national interest in the game. This rivalry, the Army-Navy rivalry, that football game, was once the most watched college football game in the country every year, and I think the second most watched football game next to the Super Bowl. There were crowds of 100,000 that would pack the stadium, and it was a big deal, and it still is. I mean, I think there was 9-point-something million people watched the game on TV last year. That's a pretty good interest. But I think he really appreciated academy football and what our young men and what the young men and women at academies commit to and what they do on a daily basis, and the investment they make and what they'll go on to do after graduation. So we're certainly going to miss him. Our Army Football Club, which is our Army football alumni, made him an honorary member of the Army Football Club a few years back, and I know that he was very appreciative of that, and so I enjoyed getting to know him, and I didn't get to know him as closely as an assistant coach in this rivalry as I did as a head coach, and I certainly appreciate John and all he did for the game and for Academy football.
Great. Thank you, Coach.
You bet.
Ken McMillan, if you're there, go ahead. Or Sal. Go ahead, Sal.
Hey, Coach. Good to see you. Hope all is well.
It is. Thank you, Sal.
Wanted to ask you about if you're anxious about anyone who maybe did not get as much of a run last season or might have been held out of spring. Anxious to see them on the practice field this preseason.
Well, let's see. I'm trying to think of all the guys that were out and where they might be. I think guys that come to mind. There's a young offensive lineman, Josh Manicky. I'm really excited to see him get out there and practice full speed. He's still we're still holding him back a little bit to get him back in condition, but he's such a big body kid and long kid. I'm excited to watch him. Remind me, Sal, of who sat out last spring that you didn't get a chance to see and wanted to ask me about.
Yeah, I'm trying. Anderson Britton's a guy that got banged up, and you're saying that he's on the road to recovery, so to speak, and getting back into the swing of things.
He is. He's doing all the kicking jobs right now. Obviously, he was hurt early in the year, so got his surgery during the season last year. So he's had plenty of time to recover, and I'm glad to see him back out there. So, we'll, like I said, we'll see about the kickoffs, but he looks good doing the PATs and field goals. I don't know. Eric, you remember anybody? I mean, it's... Noah Nixon, Baylor Newsome. Those two guys are back. They were both out with injuries a year ago, and they're those are two guys that I think will have a chance to certainly help us on special teams, but they're gonna be either the backup or the two of those guys probably in the top 5 at inside linebacker. And the neat thing about those guys is you watch them out there on the practice field. They're long, they're big-bodied guys, and I think there's some position flexibility to maybe play outside linebacker or play a different position in the defense if they're not the starting inside linebacker. And if either of those guys or both of them are two of our best football players, we want to find a way to get them on the field. So it'll be fun to see those guys kind of get back in the mix and see how they look.
Non-camp question. Had Kyle Lewis on the podcast yesterday talking about how he's going to compete in an Ironman competition. I know there was a social media post of you saying, hey, a former nose guard of mine going to compete in an Ironman competition. Can't believe I'm posting it. Can you talk about a little bit about Kyle and his drive just to do something for a good cause?
Not only is he running 2 Ironmans in a matter of 2 months. He just played nose guard this past year. Sometimes those guys are nose guards and they get in shape and they start doing these other workouts, and 5 or 6 years after they're playing, they're running these Ironmans or biking or running marathons. This guy just played last fall, and so he's still, when you see him, I mean, he's still put together pretty good. It's not like he's trimmed down and a thin guy. He's well over 200 pounds, and as I told him, when he lines up to compete in that Ironman, there's going to be a lot of thin, runner type people that this is all they do is train for these things, and he realizes that. But I think it's just the excitement of having a chance to compete, and that's what happens when people are competitive. They want to continue to be in competitive environments. I think it's one of the great things about the Army is that they leave our football program, they leave West Point, which is competitive, and they go in the Army, and they've got to take a team or a unit, and they've got to prepare them for competition. And so I'm excited for him. He is, he is representing a great cause, and so we'll see. I'm excited. I mean, it's going to be this fall, so it's not too far away. He's going to go to Chattanooga first, and then do one in Arizona a couple months later, and I just hope he stays healthy and he's able to finish.
I appreciate it, Coach.
And to wrap up, Ken McMillan, if you're there, go ahead.
Hey, Jeff. Welcome back. Jeff, I know the focus is on this year, but can you give us your take on what kind of vibe this team has coming into camp, and is it similar to any of your previous seasons here?
I think Seth kind of was alluding to the same thing, asking just about the personality, the temperament, the closeness to the team. It's hard to tell right now. They've had an entire off season to work together, so you see those veteran players and new personalities, new leaders emerge. But when you throw 70 new freshmen into the mix, it's a different group, and they're a part of it as well, and an important part of it. So we'll see. I do like our football team. I think there's good leaders on this team. There's some talented guys on this team, but like every year, it will take our team being tough and playing together and being very assignment sound, fundamentally sound, and playing the game really, really hard to just give ourselves a chance to win, because we're going to play teams that are far more talented, and that's no knock on our guys. And I tell them the same thing. We can't roll the balls out and just say, hey, we're the better team, we're a more talented team, we're going to win regardless of what happens. We got to execute really well, and so that's what we strive to do. And we're not void of talent. We got talented guys, but we've got to have a team that plays together and plays really hard and believes in each other, and so they're human beings, and they've got to choose to do that, and then they've got to practice it every day. And so we certainly try to motivate and inspire them to do that and compel them to do that. But ultimately, it's going to be the leaders from within the team and the guys on the team that are going to make up the personality of who we really are.
And Jeff, last year you guys used a lot of players on the 1 and 2 deep here. There's got to be a certain level of comfort coming in knowing that you do have a lot of playing experience on the 2 deep. So perhaps these roles fitting into the new starting roles won't be so difficult.
Well, I hope you're right. I hope it won't be difficult. But I hope it's not difficult, because we got a bunch of really good players that we feel very comfortable putting in the starting role. Hopefully we don't find out we've got guys that we don't think are going to be as productive, or if there's not competition. It's great to have a really good starter. What's even better is to have a really good backup, because most of the time you don't go through the entire season with the same 22 starters, and eventually somebody's going to have to step up and answer the bell. So hopefully, as you said, we've got some depth. We do have some guys that have played. They're not all returning starters, but we got a lot of guys that have some good experience, and I'm sure they are excited to be the starter and to try to earn the starting position and to contribute to the team in a bigger role. So we'll see. We'll see what it looks like at the end of camp and what the depth looks like.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thanks, Ken.
Thanks, everybody.
Okay.
Good to see you again. Good to see you. Went to the U.S. Army Conference in Wiesbaden, Germany, 2 weeks ago, class. And trained me well. I asked you questions.